So moving on now, again, I wanted to talk about some theme parks and stuff like that. I feel like almost every podcast now that I do is kind of embracing or talking about theme parks in some kind of way. The last few have been talking about Disney World and Epic Universe. And it's not going to be any different. And it's going to be another topic that, again, I take from the Underachievers podcast that I do, which is another Witmer Asks segment, which I feel like I've seen some people talk about some videos or whoever always saying how much or how will Epic Universe now open in Orlando kind of affect Disney World. And I kind of want to give my overall kind of thoughts on that, mainly being that I feel like there may be some lingering kind of effects with Epic Universe now open. I don't think it's going to be too devastating for Disney, because I've seen some where they say, "Oh, Disney's screwed because their Epic Universe is open and everything, and how great that park is and all." But to me, I feel like the fandom has changed from what it used to be, because I feel like before it was always either you were Universal or you were Disney. But I feel like a lot of people nowadays will enjoy both parks. They'll go and experience obviously what's new with Epic Universe and everything, while also spending time at Disney, where they'll split their vacations. And again, I was no different whenever I went down there. Obviously, Epic Universe wasn't open, but in terms of going to Universal and Disney, I feel like almost every trip we always did it where it was like we hit Disney for the most part of it, and then did like a day or two in Universal, hitting both Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios. And I feel like a lot of people nowadays are kind of on that kind of same kind of mindset, where if you're into theme parks and if you are into that kind of stuff, you're going to go to both kind of parks. Obviously, it kind of depends on what the family is and everything in terms of what you're going to, because like I mentioned, I feel like in past and talking about Universal and versus Disney and stuff like that, Universal is very much more of the teenage kind of young adult, I feel like, still kind of thing, where with Epic Universe they're trying to pivot a little bit more towards that family thing. Yes, before they've always had kind of family elements to it, where Disney has always been very clearly families first kind of thing in terms of their theme parks and everything, where again, Universal and even with Epic Universe, what they like that thrill element of it. So I feel like there's going to be a good amount of people that are going to want to experience kind of both when they go down there. And even if you say Disney did take a hit from, Epic Universe being open, I think it'd be very, again, like I mentioned, not too kind of devastating. I feel like the, maybe worst case scenario for them would be maybe ticket prices being a little cheaper, or they have to offer more like sales incentives for people to go down. But even then, I feel like that's a very minor headache for Disney to have to kind of worry about. And for us and those that like going to Disney, that may be actually a helpful kind of thing, because obviously pricing for Disney has always been kind of pretty expensive. So if that's the case that comes from it, that's obviously kind of best for us. Maybe not so much for Disney, but for the consumer going down there, obviously that's going to be great. I also believe because Disney has so many, because of the projects that Disney is currently working on, I feel like they're so great in the concepts that they have coming out for them, that I don't think it's going to be, even if there is a hit, it's not going to be too long of a hit, because what they have coming out soon is going to help bring those crowds back to Disney World. Whether it's the stuff going on at Hollywood Studios, the stuff that's going to happen at Animal or Magic Kingdoms, just so much fun and stuff that's going to be coming out. The only issue with those is that many of those don't come out until probably mid-2026 or 2027 and beyond. And because of that, I can see where at the moment Epic Universe is going to have that, and Universal maybe have a slight advantage there. But again, I don't think there's going to be that much of a headache for Disney, because there's still going to be people who are going to go to Disney World. It's not going to be affected too terribly much. So at the end of the day, while I do think there may be some linger effects of Epic Universe and down there in Orlando now, I don't think it's going to be a devastating blow for Disney and everything, just because, it's Disney. There's always going to be people who are going to want to go to the parks, whether you're an avid kind of Disney fan or theme park fan like I am, or if you're going down there with family and everything, you're always going to want to kind of explore that and see how kids and everything kind of feel about kind of expanding their mind and everything, going into these into Disney World and everything. And I do think Epic Universe is a good, potentially could be a good park. Again, I haven't actually gone there yet, but for what I've seen, pictures, videos, and everything, it does look like they started to kind of add more kind of elements to embrace younger kind of families and everything. The only issue I still have with Epic Universe and everything, and I did mention that when I talked about Epic Universe in a previous podcast, in a previous video, that again, it's just so thrill-based that there's such limited things that young families can really do. That's where I think they really nailed it with some of the characters and everything that you meet around the park, because I feel like that kind of helps overcome some of the thrill elements that the younger families, younger kids can't really ride or anything, but can still enjoy the worlds, embrace themselves, kind of have their imaginations go wild as their favorite movies or everything kind of come to life in front of them. So again, that's kind of my long kind of spiel of saying I don't think Disney's really going to be affected that much at all from Epic Universe really being the open. And worst case, again, I think it's just going to be very minor things that they can do to make people come back to it, if that is something that does happen to them.